It's been a while. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but I'm back to make some season predictions before the season starts tomorrow. And I definitely do make some off the charts predictions here and there because off the chart stuff always happens every year. Sometimes teams are better on paper than on ice. And I mean, either way, I'm going to be wrong. So might as well take some bigger swings, right? Might as well take some bigger swings. Not so big of a swing, though, is putting the San Jose Sharks in dead last. I think that's where they're going to be. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I think them surprising us will only be them moving up a few spots. Like I don't think they're going to surprise us that much. They're going to be low down, and I have them at 32nd place. 31st, I think has the potential to surprise us a lot more. Who knows? 31st place might even crack a playoff spot. I really don't think so, as I have them down at 31st. But I don't know. They could do a lot. I'm really not sure what's going to happen with them, but my prediction is that the Columbus Blue Jackets will be 31st. I think it's awesome that they got rid of Babcock before even training camp. Like it was so early on. I think that was good. I think they'll be very unified going into the season. I think. I don't know. I feel like that's a good thing to unify around, though. But again, I don't think they're going to finish too high. I think actually that they're going to have a pretty hot start. I think that they'll start pretty strong. But again, as the season goes on, I think they're going to fade off toward the very bottom of the pack. And so 31st is where I have them. In 30th, not much better. I don't think they'll be dead last, but 30th is, again, that's only 2 spots from dead last. So they're not going to be too high up there. But I have the Philadelphia Flyers. I think they'll end up in 30th. I don't think they really seem like they have much that'll change from last season. Yeah, they're not going to be nipping at the playoffs, I don't think at all. But I have them 30th. They might be a little higher than that. They might be dead last. I'm not really sure, but that's where I put them. But at 29th is a team that I really think more than those two, more than Columbus even, could be a little bit closer to a playoff spot, maybe even get in. I'm not sure. Crazier things have happened, but I have them very low because I think their division is quite stacked. I have Montreal at 29th. I don't think they're going to be moving up um, into passing the other teams in their division. I don't have much confidence in them doing that, but again, they could, right? I think there's some things that you can look at with this team and you can see, well, they could really surprise us much more than San Jose, much more than Philly, I think, and I think even much more than Columbus. But again, their division is so strong that I do have them pretty low down. A team that's not as surprising as being low down, though, is in 28th. I have the Anaheim Ducks. I think they'll be better, but again, what were they last season? They're not going to be that much better, I don't think. But I don't think, yeah, again, I don't think they're going to be bottom feeders like last season. Although, I mean, is 28th the bottom feeder? Maybe they are actually. It's not that much higher. So okay, we'll say that. But I have them at 28th. 27th, though, is where I take a really big swing. I'm starting to swing. We'll see if I swing and miss, if I strike out here. But I really am taking a big swing here because somebody I think has to really crash and burn. And looking at the teams, a team that I really think could really crash and burn is the St. Louis Blues. I That's my swing team for crashing and burning. I have them down at 27th, and but I know who you're expecting, maybe at 27th, or at least maybe lower, at least at the bottom of the Central. They're not that far away. I do have Chicago at 26th. No worries there. But I do think Chicago will be decently exciting. And I think very much that has to do with Connor Bedard. I know there's a lot of pressure going on him. I do personally lean towards him living up to a lot of the hype. I know a lot of people are maybe uh, saying that he won't live up to a lot of things, at least in the first season. I mean, I think as time goes on, of course, people are thinking, yeah, this guy's going to be amazing, an elite player, maybe a franchise player, probably a franchise player. But a lot of people are thinking his rookie season is going to be a little underwhelming. I'm not actually on that boat. I think he'll be quite good even in this first season. So I'm going with that one. I'm on that train anyway, the hype train, right? But obviously, it's one player, a rookie player, on a team that's not quite so good, and so I don't think they'll be that much higher. I don't think they'll be again last in their division, but they're going to be close. So I have them here at 26th. 25th, I have Washington. I think they're going to be in the same spot as last year. I think that not much is going to be really changing with Washington. Yeah, they're just a team that I don't think is going to improve that much at all. Like at all. Like they were 25th in the league last year. They're 25th again. I think they're going to be very similar, and especially with who's in the Metro too. I'm just like, yeah, they really don't seem like they're gonna. They might even climb to dead last. Like I would not be surprised to see them down at 31st or 32nd, but I don't think they'll be that low. Again, I just don't see them going much higher at all. 24th, I have Nashville, and this was kind of a hard one. Nashville does have a lot of potential to be very good with Yossi, with Saros, with O'Reilly joining, but I don't know. I feel like they're going to be kind of underwhelming and that they won't really ride that train into the playoffs at all. I think they'll miss by quite a bit, and so I have them here at 24th. In 23rd, I have the New York Islanders. I don't know. They're a very hard team to place. Sometimes they have ridiculous like playoff success after a mediocre season, and so I don't know. I don't think that their mediocre season is going to get them into the playoffs this year. I don't know. I could be over. I just could be generalizing things. But who knows with the Islanders? I have them at 23rd. Again, this is not. I'm not really strong in a lot of my predictions when I'm ranking this, but yeah, I'll put them at 23rd. Just looking at all the other teams that you'll see in the future, I think 23rd is probably a good spot for the Islanders. Although a lot of people will argue with me because 22nd is Arizona, and a lot of people will probably be like, Arizona ahead of the Isles, ahead of the Preds, ahead of maybe Washington, I don't know, ahead of Montreal. I'm not sure. I think Arizona will be pretty decent. I don't know if competitive is the right word to say what they'll be this season, but I think they'll be pretty decent. Yeah, not a playoff team, but I think they'll be better than, I don't know, probably better than expected. I think this is better than expected. I'm not sure if too much is being expected, but yeah, anyway, that's where I'm going to place them at 22nd. 21st, I'm not really sure about this either, but I ended up putting them 21st. I put Calgary there. I'm not too confident about Huberdeau picking things back up. I'm not too confident in Kadri. I'm not too confident in a lot of things Flames, but they have a lot of potential. Like again, they could be fighting again for that top spot in the Pacific. Like I don't know. Like but I'm banking on them not doing that. I'm banking on them even being worse than last year. So I don't know. Again, I'm not totally sure, but that's where I put them. In 20th, they had to come sometime. I have Detroit. I know a lot of people are kind of expecting Detroit to be better, but in that division, it's just so difficult, I think, to show that much placement improvement. So I have them here at 20th. So yeah, I don't know exactly what to do with Detroit. I want to see them do better. I really do. I would love to see them crack the playoffs, but again, that division is a difficult one for sure. 19th, I actually have another team, and a lot of people are saying these guys will be pretty unreal, a playoff team at least. A lot of people are not saying that as well, so yeah, we'll see. But I have the Ottawa Senators. I'm not quite as on the Ottawa Senators train as I was last season, I think they'll again miss the playoffs, but um, I think they'll be 19th. So I don't know. It's just, yeah, I'm not sure, but that's where I put them. 18th place. I will show you what I'm doing with the Pacific because I have Winnipeg in 18th, and so I think the Pacific will have 5 teams in the playoffs. Um, and as you'll see, maybe that's a very biased choice, but I'm gonna go with it. Winnipeg. I'm really not sure about them. Again, who knows what they'll do? They could very well be a really solid playoff team, but I don't think that they'll make it this year. Who knows, right? They have some solid players, but yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Hellebuck could, but that's the thing too. It's like there's Hellebuck, but is that enough? Right? There's on the Islanders, Sorokin. I think Sorokin right at this moment is the best goalie in the league. But again, I'm like, is that gonna make the Islanders a playoff team? Sorokin alone? Like, he could. And I know it's not Sorokin alone. I know there's some solid players too, but it's just I don't know. It's tough when you look at all the other teams and just have to rank them. You can say, yeah, the Islanders are going to be great this year, and then you look at the other teams in the Metro, and you're like, well, maybe not. With the Jets, it's a little bit different because I have them top 4 here. I think they're better than Nashville and St. Louis. I of course think they're better than Chicago. I think they'll be better than Arizona. But I still I'm leaning Pacific on this one. I'm leaning Pacific. And so in 17th place, yes, I do have the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, they are my favorite team. Yes, I think Talkett's system is going to be a lot better for them, and they have upgraded a bit. Is it enough to get into the playoffs? I say just barely. 17th place, even. And so, yeah, you see that yellow highlight. That's going to be the note for playoff teams. But yeah, I'll say Vancouver gets in. And 16th, I have the Kings. I think the Kings will be, of course, a good team. I don't know if they'll be as good as some people might say. I think Copley in net and who's the other guy? I forget. I even forget. But I don't know if their goaltending is just. I don't know if it's quite strong enough. I'm just. I don't know, but the rest of their team is pretty solid, and so I don't really know exactly where to put them, but I'll put them in 16th. So yeah, I don't know. It's decent, right? It's decent. So a team that's gonna miss is gonna end up 15th, and I'm saying it's gonna be a battle between this team and the next team I put on. And I think the loser of that battle is going to be Pittsburgh. I'm putting Pittsburgh just outside the playoffs again. um, so yeah, I know they've, I don't know. It looks like I know it looks like they'll be a playoff team. The Carlson edition is a good one, but how good of an edition is it? I just don't know. I guess I just don't know. I'm putting them 15th. That's just where they are because I don't think they're gonna kick out. And this is where I kind of am leaning. I don't think they're gonna kick out the Lightning from the playoffs. I have the Lightning in 14th. I think the Lightning are gonna have a pretty tough time early on in the season without Vasi. But they're the Lightning, right? Like, are they really gonna miss the playoffs? I guess they have when they were a strong team before, and then come back and done great, like in the mid 2000s. But or the mid 2010s, I should say, not the mid 2000s. Although I think they probably were doing that in the mid 2000s too. But yeah, I don't know about Tampa being outside the playoffs, and so picking between Pittsburgh and Tampa, I went with Tampa. I think they'll be pretty strong later on in the season, and I think they'll do enough to get in. And so, yeah, it's really hard to go against Tampa anyway. Like, it wasn't that long ago that they were just such a powerhouse, right? Like, last season, losing to Toronto, it definitely made them seem not as much like a powerhouse. But again, like, you'd be tired too if you went to the finals 3 years in a row and won twice. Like, it's just, yeah. Yeah, so I think the fatigue and, the loss of some of their depth is definitely going to have an effect. The loss of Vasi early on in the season definitely going to have an effect, but I don't think it'll be enough to really take them out of the playoffs fully, at least. In 13th, I have Boston. And similar with them, I don't think losing Bergeron will take them out of the playoffs. It'll be obviously a huge hit. Like that was such uh, like that was basically their best player, right? Like he was. And so that's a huge hit. And they've lost a lot more than that as well. There's a lot of people they've lost, like, Bertuzzi and Orlov and stuff. Like, it's just, the list really is big on who they've lost. But I don't know. I don't think it's enough to take them out of the playoffs. I think they'll still be a playoff team. And so I have them at 13th. I have them a little lower down, but I still have them as a playoff team. In 12th, another playoff team, I have the New York Rangers. I think that's a decent spot for them. They could go higher for sure, but yeah, I don't know. I just felt like 12th was a good spot for them. 11th, I have the Vegas Golden Knights. So yeah, maybe a bit of I don't know if there's going to be much of a hangover, but I just don't think that they're going to plow through the regular season that much. I would be more worried about them in playoff time than the regular season. And so I don't know. I put them in 11th. I put them in 3rd in the Pacific, but again, like, who knows? Like, they could win the President's Trophy. Like, who knows, right? Like, they were just the Cup winners. They're a good team for sure. But I have them at 11th. In 10th, I have the team right ahead of them. And I don't know. I feel like I'm really high on this team. I feel like I'm really high on the Seattle Kraken. Should I be? I don't know. I've been really impressed with them last season, and especially in the playoffs too. And I don't know. I feel like they could have a really strong regular season. And I know last season they were really high in the standings for quite a while, and they maintained it enough to stay in the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, you know, they took out the big guns of Colorado. So that was quite something. But yeah, I don't know. Seattle, they've really impressed me, and so I feel like they're going to be quite well. I'm not, I mean, this might be a bit of a swing. I don't know, but I think Seattle's going to be good. I really do. I really do. So I have them at 10th. 9th, a team that I do think is still going to be very good, but I don't know if their regular season is going to hold up as much as people have said. I have Dallas. Now, again, this is not a reflection of, me thinking Dallas is going to be a really bad team or anything like that. I know they're lower than a lot of people might have them in their, season standings predictions. But I don't know. To me, I feel like, and do I always underestimate Dallas? Well, not last year. Last year's playoff prediction, I did actually have Dallas winning the cup. I feel like I'm a lot more confident. I have a lot more confidence in Dallas being a strong playoff team than a regular season team. But of course, I think they're going to have still a pretty good regular season as well. Again, they're ahead of most of the Pacific teams. I'm just saying that they'll be third in the Central. Florida is who I have in 8th spot. I think Florida will still be good. I don't think there's much of a reason to think they're going to be out of the playoffs. Yeah, have they lost some guys? Yeah, I don't know. I still think Florida's going to be solid. I I know they won the President's Trophy 2 years ago. I know they almost missed last year. I think they'll be back kind of in the mix a little bit more and be a little stronger after their finals run. And not, President's Trophy level again, but yeah, I think they're going to be solidly in the mix of the playoff teams for sure. I really do. I don't see Florida missing the playoffs. I see Boston or Tampa missing before I see Florida missing. I really do. In seventh spot, who do I have in seventh spot? I actually don't remember. Let's see. Oh, Buffalo, yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like Buffalo will be strong. I'm kind of on the Buffalo train like a lot of other people. I put them up decently high as well. I think they could easily get seventh. They could also easily, crumble again and be like in 20th or like even lower. I don't know. But, I'm going to go with Buffalo making the playoffs finally. Right? It's playoff time, Buffalo. That's what we've been saying for quite a while. But I think it's finally time, right? It's finally time, I think. Come on. Okay. So in sixth spot, I have the Minnesota Wild. I actually think the Minnesota Wild will have a pretty good regular season. Um, we'll see my prediction for the playoffs later, but I think they'll be pretty solid in the regular season. I think they'll be a little better. But again, not the top of the top by any means. In fifth spot, I have the Pacific Division winners, Edmonton Oilers. Well, that's what I think they're going to be, at least, the Pacific Division winners. Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty solid. There's not much reason to think that they won't be up near the top of the Pacific Division. So, yeah, I put them there. In fourth, I have Colorado. I don't think they'll be President's Trophy caliber level, but I think they'll be pretty solid, of course, in the regular season. And yeah, top the Central again. And in third, I have New Jersey. I think New Jersey's been going to be great. I think they're going to be so good this season. I'm really excited to see what Jack Hughes can pull out. I know last year, I'm pretty sure I predicted him to be over 100 points. I'm pretty sure I said I'm pretty sure Jack Hughes is going to get more than 100 points this season. And then he got 99, so I was close, right? He got 99. So yeah. But I think he's going to break 100 this year for sure, right? Like, unless he gets injured. I think if he plays every single game, he should be over 100 points easily. Well, I don't know if it's easy. But I really think he should be over 100 points. And, it's not just him on that team either, right? But overall, I do have the Devils here at number 3. Number 2. Who do I have as my President's Trophy winner, and who do I not have as my President's Trophy winner? Well, I don't have Carolina as my President's Trophy winner, as good as I think they'll be. I have Toronto. I think Toronto will win the President's Trophy. They look like they're going to be solid, at least in the regular season. Again, playoffs, it's always a different story for the Maple Leafs, but they should be so solid in the regular season. And I'm just going right with it. I'm going to be like, yep, solid, 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 and President's Trophy winners. And I think some teams, I don't know if teams really hold back or conserve. I know that Tampa kind of held back a little bit before they won their actual Stanley Cups in 2020 and 2021. It seemed like they didn't try and top the charts. Yeah, I don't know if Colorado's going to top the charts. I don't know if Vegas is going to top the charts. I don't know if New Jersey, a big contender, is going to top the charts. Carolina could. I think that might be a lot of people's President's Trophy winner pick. Is Carolina. I'm not sure about that, but I would imagine that's probably a big choice. And maybe Toronto is too, but that's mine at least. So, yeah, those are my standings predictions for this season. Now, let's look at the awards. Hart Trophy. Who do I think is going to win the Hart Trophy? Well, who does everyone think? Connor McDavid. What about the Art Ross? Well, I mean, that's probably even more easy of a choice, an easier choice, right? Connor McDavid, I think. Rocket Richard. I went with Draisaitl this year. I mean, if he's with McDavid, he's got an amazing shot at it. So I just went with him. Vezina. That was an interesting one. Normally, I think I would have gone with Saros or Sorokin, but I predicted them both to be out of the playoffs, so I didn't really want to go with them. So I did pick Shesterkin. I almost picked Ottinger. I'm not really sure if Ottinger will be Vezina caliber, and I also had Hellebuck outside the playoffs, so I wasn't sure about that. And I might have gone with something like crazy, but I maybe did play it a bit safe and go for Shesterkin, who has already won a Vezina. I think he'll be quite good. Norris, I went with another kind of easy choice. I went with Cale Makar for the Norris. Selke, I ended up going with Mitchie Boy. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. And the Calder, I know. It's the easy choice again. I went with Bedard. I do think it'll be Bedard. Again, I'm actually... And I mentioned this before too, somewhere in some comment section somewhere. I don't even remember. But I do think Connor Bedard will be a point per game player. I think he will get about, if he plays every game, I think he'll get maybe 85 points, and that does seem a bit high. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are underrating him a bit too much. I think he really should be, even this year, a point per game player. So I don't know. He'll probably get so much playing time. on the Blackhawks too because of where they are and the players that they have. I don't know. I really don't. I really don't see a reason to think that Connor Bedard will be far from a point per game. Maybe he'll be under. I think he'll be over, but I think he'll be close. I don't really think there's a reason, that much of a reason, to think he won't be close to a point per game. I don't know. That's my take anyway. That's what I'm going. So let's move on to the playoffs. So these are the matchups based on my predicted standings, and let's just go through them. Colorado, Vancouver. Oh man, would that be awesome to see Vancouver win? Pull a Seattle. Rick Tocchet, Jack Adams. I wonder about that, actually. I didn't predict a Jack Adams, but yeah, let's say Rick Tocchet. No, I have no idea. That's just like crazy. I don't want to predict that. I don't even want to throw that out there. Colorado, Vancouver. I'm going to go, well, yeah, I'm going to go Colorado. So we'll do that. Minnesota, Dallas. I hate to do this to Minnesota. I love Minnesota so much. But again, I think Dallas takes the cake and moves into the second round there. Oilers, Kings. I went Oilers. I just think they're still going to be a strong team. And they do have lots of playoff experience at this point as well. I don't see them losing to the Kings. But I don't know. We'll see. Seattle, Vegas. Is Vegas going to... I don't know. What's Vegas going to do? What's Seattle going to do? Is Seattle going to move to the second round again? Is Vegas going to... well, same thing. Move to the second round again. I went with Seattle. I know, I'm really high on Seattle. I went with them. I don't know, but I went with them. Toronto, Tampa. Do you think Tampa will, again, take out Toronto in the first round, or will Toronto do what they did last year and take Tampa out of the first round? I went with Toronto. I think that's a fair assessment. Buffalo, Florida. Is Buffalo finally making the playoffs going to mean they're going to move on in the playoffs? To me, I don't think so, especially after Florida went on their huge run. Florida knows playoff hockey. I'm going Florida on that one. Boston, Carolina. Okay, I know Bergeron is like a huge loss. I know they've gotten lots of losses. I know Carolina is a very big cup favorite this year. I just wanted to see an upset. I picked Boston. I'm like, sure. I mean, they're not President's Trophy winners this coming season. I don't think by any chance. I would be extremely surprised if Ullmark followed it up and was Vezina caliber again, and Boston somehow won the President's Trophy again. But I think it would be a helpful thing for Boston if they were not as high up in the standings. I don't know, but it is against Carolina too. I don't know. Yeah, they do have a tough matchup there. That might be tough. I don't know. I'll pick Boston. Let's do it. I mean, unpredictability, right? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm wrong anyway. Boston's moving on, guys. All right, well, let's move to New Jersey and New York. I picked New Jersey to take it home again. And, yeah, so I just did that. Colorado, Dallas. I did pick Colorado. I think Colorado should be, better again. Coming off a really disappointing playoffs last season. I think they're going to be a lot more hungry for the cup to get another one. And so I don't know. And Dallas might be really hungry to get there first, right? Like, I guess hunger is not much to do with it. But I did pick Colorado. And Oilers, Seattle. Again, I'm very high on Seattle. I picked Seattle. Toronto, Florida. Will Toronto be able to avenge their loss from last season? I said no. I said Florida moves on again. So there you go. But New Jersey and Boston, is Boston another upset? Are we going to have a rematch between Boston and Florida? That would be pretty cool, actually. But I picked New Jersey. So, yeah. Finalists. Colorado, Seattle. I picked Colorado. Florida. Will they go to the Cup final again? Will this be the Battle of 1996 rematch? It's actually going to be the Battle of 2001 rematch. It'll be the Devils and Avs. That's my call. Anyway, I'm saying Devils versus Avs, and I'm saying Cale Makar gets another one. Who wins the Conn Smythe? Is it Cale Makar? I actually picked Mikko Rantanen. But, yeah, so those are my predictions. Colorado is my Cup champion choice for this coming season, although New Jersey is a good choice as well. Carolina is a good choice. I mean, there's a lot of good choices. Really, even people outside the playoffs could be, a decent choice, honestly. Pittsburgh, like, who knows what they can do, right? Like, you never really know. And so, um, I think there are some bad choices. If you're going to pick San Jose to win the cup, I think you're wild and just making a joke. But I could have made a joke. I could have really swung for the fences and just like gone right for the Sharks. Cup winners. I think a couple years ago I think it was NHL 22. I did a simulation and the Sharks won. And it was like, whoa, where did that come from? James Reimer, Conn Smythe. I think it was James Reimer at least. Anyway, he was the goalie there. It was just like wild. So yeah, who knows what can happen. But if the Sharks even sniff near the playoffs, I think that'll be one of the most shocking things ever. No, I don't know, but it'll be weird. Um, but yeah, so I've been extremely busy lately, and in my personal life, it's only going to get busier. Plus, I think when I did my huge goalie mask ranking series, um, it didn't really get as much attention to feel like my work was worth it because I put a lot into that huge ranking every single goalie mask worn last season, and I don't know. So part of what that did is I don't know. I feel like I've lost a lot of motivation to really make videos at least that often. I'm not going to stop ranking logos, jerseys, or anything. Like, I'm still going to do my ranking. I'm still going to, make some videos and stuff. It's just that it's not going to be as often as it used to be. Every once in a while, you might see a new ranking pop up on your subscription feed. But again, it won't be as often as it was back before the summer. Even I look back and I saw how many videos I made in April alone, and it was like, whoa, like I made a lot of videos in April and that whole season. Um, so I won't be quite like that, but definitely I'm not gonna stop making videos. I still love making videos, but it's just priorities right now, especially since I'm not a full-time YouTuber. If I was a full-time YouTuber, man, I'd put so much time into this. It would be awesome. But yeah, I'm definitely not that. I'm nowhere near that, and so yeah, I just gotta focus on my priorities. And so you'll see me less often, at least with big videos. You might still see me with a lot of, the poll series that I do. I might make another one. I'm not sure what I'll do next. The finals are right now for the greatest goalie mask of all time that you guys are voting for. So there's that. Maybe I'll make some shorts, but again, the content, as you've noticed over the summer, it's not gonna pick up um, during these next few months either. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for a lot of things, for the people who are really supporting me in this. Sorry I can't make more if you really do enjoy this. If you don't, then you're welcome. But yeah, I'll sign off.